Can't learn this from studying. It become like a mind stuff. It become like an ego stuff, something that you can never live up to. All of those beautiful thoughts about oneness and unconditional love, and you can read about it in old scriptures, and you know that it exists, but you can't feel it. So it become like an inner conflict. So yes, I learned about it, and I had a lot of inner conflicts. Then one day I was like struck by my capacity to love, and I was just falling down on the earth and crying, and my heart was just blasted open. And one of my friends were passing me by and is asking me, "What's wrong with you?" And I looked up at him, and I just love him so much in that moment, and I was crying. And I said, "There's nothing wrong with me. I just realized my capacity to love. And you know what? I can love everyone and everything." And he was quiet for a while, and he was hard. And he looked at me and he said, You're just being silly."
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, you know what? My love was so strong. My love was so strong that I wasn't affected by his hardness. I just loved him. And I loved his hardness, and I loved his harsh attitude. And I see where it comes from. And I had compassion with it. And I realized, oh my God, I have the capacity to love even the ugliest things. And it has helped me a lot in my work, because I have met really, really ugly people, really creepy people. And I've been able to hold them, and I've been able to caress them, and I've been able to open my heart and to feel love for them. I've even met the most horrible rapists in my work. Yes. And I was able to love this person, not to love the person's deeds or actions or thoughts, but to love the core being in this person. So destroyed.
I get that. How strong and safe do you have to feel to be even in a situation like that where you're in the company of a rapist? I mean,
no, that's the feminine power. The feminine power is the power to love. And the power to love is removing the fear and removing the darkness from the people around you. So when you're exposing someone to love, this person will melt. And that's the true power of the feminine. And that's why I don't call myself a traditional feminist, because the traditional feminists, they want to become like the men, and they want to have the same expression as the men. But that's not true. For me, the feminine power is the power to love. And that power is so strong that it will change the world.
I think that's what's happening right now. I think that movement, the feminine movement that's going on right now, that's what's happening. That you can define and own your femininity in a way that you choose to, not the way, it's dictated by society, and you're gonna you do a man's job in a man's world, and you can just be the woman you want to be, but own that. And it's kind of evolved into this.
Because that's a big wound in many women, that they're supposed to be able to do it themselves. I can do it myself. I don't need you. I can have success. I can make a career. I can manage everything, and I don't need you. Well, actually, that takes us away from connecting. I need you and I want you, and we need each other, and we are a wed. We're all standing here holding each other's hand, and my life is about providing for you to get loved and free, and your life is for providing for me to feel safe, and to, we're all giving our gifts and helping each other. We need each other. No one can make it themselves, because they will only feel disconnected and hard.
With all the work you've done, obviously people come to you now for help so that they can open up, right? How do you feel? Do you feel like your journey is like you've attained some degree of satisfaction, or is it just a journey that just keeps going? You always look for more?
Yeah, I'm in a place in my life where I'm blissful, actually. That doesn't mean that I'm always happy, because being blissful and happy is not the same thing. I can be blissful even though I'm angry or sad. But the thing is, I've been working so much with my body and learning how to take the sensations from my body into an area of my brain where I feel pleasure. So my general state in my body is pleasure. And it's really, really difficult to be cranky or upset or see life as from the victim perspective, or see life as hard if your body is vibrating with the joy.
Oh my God.
So, yeah.
Just the description sounds sexy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. But it's also a choice that you've allowed yourself to make.
Yeah.
And was there a time when you were not able to even go there? Bliss was not even in the equation.
Yeah, I remember early on my journey, my yoga teacher told me to hold my hands on my own heart. And I remember feeling totally ridiculous and totally silly, and why should I do this? You know? But now, touching myself, I'm touching myself because I love to touch myself. I'm touching myself because I enjoy it as much as being touched by someone else, maybe even more. And not only that, the way I breathe, you know. Oh, I can allow the breath to enter me as a sweet caress on the inside. And when I go out, I feel the fragrance of the flowers, and I can allow that fragrance to arouse me. And when I look up and I see people, I can feel like, yeah, I'm not in this world alone. I'm receiving life as pleasure because I choose to. Because it is possible. And I believe that that's how our bodies are programmed to begin with. Like all small children are looking for pleasure. The way they are touching, the way they are searching for touch, for connection, it's all about pleasure. Even the way a child is born, the way the child is correcting his pose and together with the mother is rotating out of her womb, it's because of the inborn search for pleasure. Like, I want to find the most pleasurable way to live and to exist in this moment.
You're fascinating. You know what it is? I'm sitting here. I'm like in awe right now. No, I'm serious, because like I had to live my life, right? I do something once a week with these guys who have to come from the same world I'm in, and they're struggling with their drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. And there's something, a conclusion I came to, and I share all the time with them. Is like, when we're born, we're these little guys, right? We're these little babies. We weren't taught how to hate, just steal or lie, or any of this negativity. It's all learned behavior. It's all stuff that we learned by our lives, you know, our cultures, our environment, our families, our schools, and, you know, we learn all this shit. And now we're adult men, and we're in trouble. And what we really are, underneath all this bullshit that got us in trouble, are these little boys that just want to get on the bike and ride as fast as you can. Just get that thrill, get that excitement, just run, jump, scream, laugh. It's true, raw, unadulterated, unaffected by anything but our own emotion, right? But then all this conditioning from life, all this hardening and all this bullshit, here we are. That's really who we are.
But that is only a program. The way I see it is like, this is a program. The brain and my nervous system is like a very advanced robot, a very advanced computer. And the way I'm operating, it's according to this pattern that I've learned that probably had different reasons, but these different reasons doesn't make sense in this present moment. So what if I could delete, like reboot the system, just blast all of this old programming out and start with my consciousness, with my awareness, to start rebuilding this program in a way that I want to live from my own truth. Now, I've lived 38 years and I know how I want my life. What if I just could delete the old patterns and from my own will recreate new patterns?
And I can remember being, an adult and being, like asked to identify my feelings and not being able to do it. Like not understand, like I know anger and everything is a result of that. Like even the warm feelings, I'm not good at expressing that in a room, like by myself, maybe with a pen I could do it, but not if I know, like, you guys are going to read it. You know what I mean? All of that ego comes in there and just won't allow that. So I never got to any of that. And when you said before about sensuality and just being able to touch and feel, yourself, and just, it's the senses, and to be able to appreciate and value you understanding how important you are. And all it's within, man. All of it, God, everything good is within. How do you, I mean, I learned that. I learned it a totally different way than you did. But ultimately, I think that's the end game. That's the goal, to really get that. How valuable is that to you? Like, you understanding, like, sensuality the way you do.
It is my tool. It is my tool to come inside. It is super important. The senses, to feel with my body and to feel inside my body the emotions. It's like, emotions are intelligence. Emotions are speaking from the core of my being. If I shut off my emotions, or if I shut off my sensuality, I won't feel, and then I will go into the old pattern and I will start to live out of the mind, out of the old pattern. But the moment when I'm moving into allowing myself to feel and allowing my emotions, then I have access to a tremendous tool that will make life so easy. So I'm using this a lot. I'm teaching people to get in touch with their emotions and to be able to handle the emotion, because emotion comes with a large amount of energy. Like, if you're sitting there in front of the woman that you desire and you have all this love bubbling up inside of you, you don't express it because you can't handle the rise of energy that comes when you're opening your mouth and you're looking into her eyes and you're saying, I've never seen anything as beautiful as you before, and I just want to merge with you. I just want to breathe you, inhale you, and I just want to feel you, And then her reaction to that, oh my God, are you sure? Wow. It's increasing the energy, and most people are not trained to embody large amount of energies, and that's why we are pushing down our emotions and we're hiding them, and we have difficulties expressing the great variation of emotions that we have, and that makes us disconnected from life. That make us make decisions from our mind, from what we think is true, and that gives a reaction from the life, like, life doesn't only happen. Life is a result of my choice. And if my choice is based on what I think is true, rather than what I know or what I feel or what I want, the life will deliver differently.
Isn't it often providing just a safe place for somebody to be able to express? Because sometimes these things are in there and they're just like waiting to come out. They're like fighting to come out, and nobody lets them out. And then you come into the picture, and then you just provide a safe, warm, safe place, that trusting that it's going to be okay to be vulnerable, and then this thing too. A lot of this stuff that we put so much weight on, it's not. It's in our head, man. It's an illusion. It's actually a delusion. It's just like, it's just fucking fear, man. You said it before. It's love or fear. That's it. Everything is a result of love or fear. Everything. Every fucking thing it comes down to. Everything. Keep breaking it down. It'll be in this pile or that pile. There's nowhere else for it to go. And when we can see that, I think you've mastered that, the ability to take it to a loving place. Like, however your process is to do that, Are you able to teach other people how to do that, by the way? Are you able to, is that your gift?
Yeah. And I think you touched it before when you were talking about safety. Like, my job is basically to create safety for people. And then what happened may look like magic, and people come afterwards like, oh, you're a magician, and what you have created here. Well, I haven't created much more than a safe space for the magic to happen inside of you.
Right.
And of course, I know the tools, but the tools are really simple, like the breath, for example. The breath is what can switch fear to love. And I used to ask this question, you know.
How? Can you please explain that in depth?
Do you like excitement?
Me?
Do you like to be excited, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So excitement is a form of love, isn't it?
I guess, yeah.
So when you are gonna jump off the cliff and you have this hang glider and you feel this strong pull to feel the freedom and to dive around the clouds and just wow, and you feel this excitement, you know, is a very powerful feeling of attraction, of love, and you want to you want to experience this.
That adrenaline is at an all-time high, like, you know.
Yes, but adrenaline can also be a result of fear. You're standing there in front of the cliff, you have this paraglide thing on your back and you're about to jump, but suddenly you start to mindfuck about what would happen, and if you're not doing it right, you might crash, and you get into fear, and your whole body gets stiff, and it's impossible to jump over the cliff. And you're standing there and you're not breathing.
Is that anxiety? Is that called anxiety?
So when you are afraid, you are not breathing, but the difference between excitement and fear, it's the same feeling, is the breath. So when you're excited, wow, I'm excited. And when you're afraid, you're not breathing. So I think in all situations, when you are feeling fear, like, how can I use my breath to turn this fear into excitement? And what would happen if I would sit in front of my date and I feel really fear and my hands, palm are all sweaty and I'm like, I don't know what to talk about. What if she would judge me? And then taking that fear and breathing that into excitement, say, you know what, I feel really excited sitting here in front of you, but also a little bit scared because you mean a lot to me, you know?
Breakthrough stuff right there. How did you learn that process to first recognize it and then be able to distribute that excitement one way or the other?
It's a process. You know, I was practicing yoga and teaching yoga a lot. And on the yoga mat, you do a lot of scary stuff. You do a lot of things that will make you feel afraid. And when you feel afraid, you're holding the breath and the pose will collapse, or it will, you will interrupt the practice in a way. So when you're present in the body, you have all access to all of your capacity. But when your presence go up to the mind and your mind says, what if I will fall here? And this is a really dangerous pose and I've never done this before. And the last time I did it, I fell. You know, then your presence is not in your body, it is in your mind, and your body, your muscle tone and everything will collapse.
Yeah.
And I was studying dance a lot also, and my dance teacher told me exactly by those words that the only thing that separates excitement from fear, it is breath. And I was thinking, wow, that's a really profound.
That's like Mozart right now to me.
Yeah. Does it apply in real life? And then I started to apply it, and in the yoga practice, of course, you get the sensation immediately, like, oh my God, I'm mind fucking, but what if I'm breathing with presence? There is no room for my mind. And then I started to expose myself to Tantra, and in Tantra you do the social engagement meditations, like you're meeting someone in a really vulnerable or scary situation. And when you get into fear or to freeze or to trying to avoid something, going back to the breath and realize, oh, I'm really excited about this. I'm really curious. I'm really excited. And that's what I want. I want to be excited. I want my life to be exciting. I was studying NLP for a while, neuro-linguistic programming. And in
NLP?
NLP, neuro-linguistic programming.
Silence.
It's a kind of science that is very similar to Tantra. It's how we can reprogram the mind and the nervous system through different exercises and hypnotic mind experiments. So one very important part of the NLP, it is the breath. And if I have someone in front of me and I start to breathe in their rhythm, without knowing, the person in front of me will feel relaxed in my presence, will feel seen in my presence, and will be more open for my suggestions. So if I'm out there to manipulate or I want to have my will, I can just start to breathe in the same pattern as the one who's in front of me. And that will take away the armor and will make that people feel more relaxed and accepting and happy to do what I suggest.
And you're saying that, I'm thinking, what power? I mean, what tremendous power. The fact it's such a feminine use of the power. But again, that's the power that you have within your femininity. And that's where that combination of how to, get that right mixture and right understanding of your masculine and your feminine. To really be who you are wholly and have that level of confidence. I think that's the deal. I think often we deny one part of ourselves or another, whether male or female. I think we both. So owning the whole truth is the only way to be whole.
It's the only way to be whole. And in Tantra we talk about the inner marriage, the way the inner masculine and the way in the inner feminine are married inside. Like, there is a part of me who is pure presence, who is there, who are aware, who is awareness itself, who is conscious itself. And then there is the creation. I am that creation. I am this sensual being that is feeling and experiencing life. But without my masculine, I wouldn't be able to experience it.
Right.
And I think for many women that's the case. Like, they don't have the connection with their inner masculine, so they are looking for the outer masculine always to see me, feel me, look, I'm dancing sexy, touch me, because
they need the validation from externally, right?
Yeah, because I don't have the inner masculine to see me or to touch me or to allow myself to experience life blissfully. So that's why many women are looking outside of themselves for someone else to give them validation. And that's what's also creating imbalance in relationships and destroying many relationships. Because we want to take someone from something from the other one. I want to have your attention. I want to have your love. I want to have your orgasm. I want to have your appreciation. But actually, in Tantra, we come with a fullness. Like, this is who I am. I am orgasmic, I am present, and I want to meet you in my presence and in my orgasmic, ecstatic being, and I want to experience you here. I have too much. I would just want to pour my love into you.
Oh my God, you're good. To explain orgasmic bliss.
Orgasm is it's not an ejaculation or a clitoral release of small experience. Orgasm, you can have it anywhere in the body. You can have it in the skin, you can have it in the mouth, in the throat, in the hair, in the nipples, in the spine, in the joints, all over. And what's happening is that this tense and release of the muscles and the tense and the release of the connective tissue in the body, the fascia. When this happens, something really beautiful happens in the brain. It's like the intelligent part of the brain, the knower of the brain, is being wiped out. The judgments are being wiped out temporarily. And you become a yes-sayer and a person who's more creative. Like, you start to see things from a broader perspective. And that is kind of blissful, right? When you start to feel like, oh my God, I'm not a a lone wolf walking around here. We are all here together, and it's all connected. And sound and music and taste and fragrance is more powerful. I can feel it without judging it for this or that. I'm in the now, in the experience of things, and then also the experience of the afterglow in the body, when the body has released tensions, not only around the genitals but in the whole body. The blissful experience of a body that is fully relaxed, but full of power and full of energy. That is orgasmic bliss for me. I believe that we have an orgasmic potential that is beyond our belief. And you asked me, am I done? Have I finished my journey? No. My journey just gets more and more delicious every day. And I believe that we have such a potential for feeling love and feeling bliss. But we are focused on so many other things. And many times we're focusing on achieving love and bliss from other sources than from inside. Right. And that's why we can't awaken this power inside. And you asked me before about Kundalini. What is Kundalini? Like, it is this life force inside of each and every one of us that with a little bit of awareness and a little bit of relaxation will start to flow in the body. And it's a bodily experience of bliss. It's a bodily, bubbly experience of being in love, of intoxication, almost like being on a soft drug or something. And we all have this capacity, this potential in our body, but somewhere along the line in the past, we have created shame and guilt and law and religion that prevents us from feeling the most important part of our body, like the sex. It is the generator of life. It is the source of our existence. It is the source of this power, this Kundalini energy that has the potential to lift my whole existence up to fulfillment. I don't need anything else.
I mean, I'm speechless. You go to these places where you say these things, it's absolutely fascinating stuff, but it's not even just the information, because you have the information intellectually. You have an elegant way of expressing it, but it's really authentic, really truthful in your vulnerability. It takes a lot of unlearning before we can learn. A lot of times we're so conditioned by the bullshit that this beautiful stuff that you're talking about doesn't even get there's no room for it. I got too much bullshit in me. There's no room for that.
It's the unlearning that is the process, because you don't need to learn, because this is natural. This is inside each and every one of us. It's already there. It's just like you say, it's too much bullshit on top of it. And the only thing we need to do is to release that shit. And then we realize, oh my God.
It's funny. I'm listening to you, a beautiful woman, talk in such a beautiful manner. And I'm being brought back to where I learned the same lessons from this old guy. You know, when it's time for me to go in and listen to other people about addiction, which is my whole life depends on learning this, I go, Johnny, it's like fucking brainwashing. He just look at me and goes, your brain could use a good washing.
Yeah.
It's the same way of saying what you just said. It's just a whole different approach. You know, and at that point, that's what I needed to hear. That got me through, that, because it changed my perspective, and boom, right? And now I'm here, and what you offer is so much possibility, so much potential. You really bring a lot to the table. I really don't want to keep you, want to definitely do this again. I'm honored, I'm flattered. How does anybody that just watch this, how do they follow you and what you do, and how can they find you?
I have a really beautiful blog on my homepage where I write personal things.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. So then you can go to theartoflove.nu. NU, it's now for Swedish, so theartoflove.nu, and find the blog and some articles there. And yeah, on YouTube you can find me as well with some tutorials or tantric thoughts.
So listen, thank you very much, and please tune in, check her out on her website. Lin, thank you so much.
Let's get to know you, Scott. I really love you a lot, and I'm really glad that we met.
Oh, listen, we're going to be doing this more often. We only hit the tip of the iceberg here because there were so many things that you went to that we could really expand on, and I really hope we can do that. All right?
All right.
From New York to Sweden.